It's time for Lumberjacks now.
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922. Yamaha, rev your heart.
We're here in Campbell River, British Columbia, the Dockside Marina, and one of the best places to have lunch in Campbell River, the Dockside Fish and Chips. Not only that, it's the Campbell River Salmon Festival and the 50th annual Logger Sports Competition. Hi, I'm Bill D with my co-host, Lumberjack sport analyst Rod Cumberland. And Rod, 50 years of any event is a feat in itself.
And guys like Dave McLeod and Jim Lilburn are fellows that work tirelessly at this sport and this event to make sure it happens year in and year out.
Now, a couple of events we're covering this week is a women's single buck. We have some people out here that don't normally come out to BC to compete. They're coming for part of the prize money, I guess.
$45,000 drew lights of Nancy Zalewski and, of course, Aaron Lavoie, hometown favorite Allison Briscoe. That's going to be a tough one to call, but those three will be at the top of the heap in the women's single buck.
Another event kind of unique to Campbell River Salmon Festival is the men's relay. It's a couple of chopping events, the standing block and the underhand chop.
One chopper starts out, chops halfway through the log, then, of course, when they switch to the second side, another chopper jumps in and finishes the block. That happens in the standing block and underhand. We've got Mitch Hewitt here. We have Jason Lentz from way down in West Virginia. He's come the whole way out here. There's some great choppers, but they're all mixed up in their pairs, so it's hard to call that one.
Well, Campbell River is a beautiful coastal city in British Columbia, on the east coast of Vancouver Island, at the south end of Discovery Passage. The city claims a population of over 35,000 people and has long been touted as the salmon capital of the world. It's the 7th time out here for Lumberjacks television series, and I'm here with our television analyst, Dave Jewett. We're going to get started with the log burling. Before the competition, all the competitors were seeded into the championship round, with Brian Bartow and Mike Boyko seeded 1 and 2 respectively, and both of them getting buys into the semifinal. Also in the quarterfinal round, Aaron Lavoie took out Derek Pouchnick, and Kenji Boyko bested his Aunt Brenda to also advance to the semis. In the semifinal round, Brian Bartow then took out Aaron Lavoie, and the Battle of Boykos, Kenji, in a great battle, took down his father Mike and advanced to the championship final. In the consolation round, the women took control. Aaron Lavoie beat Mike Boyko, while Brenda Pouchnick outlasted her husband Derek, which leaves us with Brenda taking on Aaron for 3rd and 4th place in this semifinal action. And in this battle for 3rd and 4th place, we're going to see them on 14-inch logs. And you know, Dave, they didn't get started on these 14-inch logs.
Well, thanks for having me, Bill. You're right. They started on a 15-inch Western Red cedar log. They expired the 2 minutes. Now they're down to the 14-inch. The problem, it sinks more. It's not as buoyant. It's going to be a faster log. And if they keep going, they could get to the 12-inch Little Dynamite, which is very fast.
And it tends to make the heats a lot shorter as well. You really got to focus and pay attention, because these logs are going to spin a lot more, smaller diameter. And Brenda is down in the first heat. Best 2 out of 3. What did Brenda do wrong here? What did Aaron do right?
Well, Aaron ran her off the log. This is a bucking match. So they're looking over opposite shoulders. Now Aaron can see that she's got her backpedaling right there, and Aaron's gonna give her the kick. And that's just a strategic move right there. As soon as you start backpedaling, your heels stop moving, you're in trouble.
And this is the one Lumberjack sport event where you've got to watch your competitor. You can't worry about stopwatches or anything like that. You can see they're trained on each other's feet here as they're tapping their logs, and they can spin it both ways, backward, forward. It's a real tactical maneuver.
Right, the feet have to keep moving. Usually they have a coach on the sidelines telling them, keep your feet moving, stay on your heels. See, Aaron, she's staying on the heels. The heels are checking the log. The toes can accelerate the log, but you have to get back on the heels.
Now just talk to me a little bit about strength here. What does strength come into play here? Because both these women look about the same size here, but you got to be able to control that log, stop and start at a moment's notice.
You're right, the strengths are even here, so it's all strategy, and there she goes. Aaron gets run off the log right there, so now it's a 1-1 match. So now with only one heat to go, Aaron has to think, do I just wait out Brenda, or do I try to kick her off like she did in the first heat?
Well, you can see Brenda taking advantage of Aaron, slowing down there a little bit. She snapped her heels there and just snapped Aaron right off the log while Aaron's feet stopped moving.
Well, Bill, from a spectator's point of view, it may look like their feet never stop moving, but if they stop for a half second, that log is moving, and they will not be able to catch up.
And this battle for third and fourth place between these two excellent log rollers, the heats are very, very quick. Small diameter log, and there it is. Erin Lavoie takes down Brenda Pauchnik for third place in the log rolling. Fantastic log rollers. These women actually logged for about 5 or 6 minutes as they went down to the 14-inch log.
Right there, and you see both competitors having perfect technique. It's just the long steps of Brenda. They need to be short steps. You need to abbreviate those steps, and that's where Erin got the win. Brenda just lengthened those steps, and that's all it took.
Well, we're now heading into the championship final featuring the aged veteran in log burling and pole climbing, Brian Bartow, now living in Squamish, British Columbia, taking on young up-and-comer Kenji Boyko, part of the Boyko family from Port Alberni, British Columbia.
Now, don't think that Kenji's out of this just because he's a smaller competitor. His side of the log is not going to sink as much. He can stay on that log easier. Brian's log is, look, it's sinking more. He's in the water more, but he will outpower Kenji.
He's able to put on the brakes a little bit more, and there he is, bucks off Kenji in the first heat, taking a 1-0 lead in his best 2 out of 3 final in the championship round here in Campbell River. What does Kenji do wrong here?
Well, right now, he's got Kenji backpedaling, and he just gives him that kick. He sees that Kenji's in trouble, and a skilled competitor can control that log and says, okay, now's the time I've got to kick it.
It looks like Brian just put on the brakes there, and Kenji just didn't stop the momentum and fell backwards.
Okay, now that's a no time right now, by the way. The judge has to say time in. He watches both competitors, says both competitors are in control. He'll blow the whistle, time in. But right now he said, nope, I'm going to let that one go. Neither one were in control.
So they didn't really even get started. So that's still 1-0 for Brian as we head into heat number 2 here.
Yeah, that's a great call, by the way, to the head judge. A lot of pressure on the head judge to make the right calls.
And they don't have the advantage with the television replay like we have. Here we go into heat number 2. Kenji a little bit off balance there as Brian's trying to throw him off for a 2-0 victory. But Kenji's hanging in there, and Brian slips off the back of the log.
And you know what I saw? Watch Brian's left foot. He goes off. See, the log's all tore up right now. He's going to be getting grip in there, and his back foot, his left foot, it goes way off to the left, and he could have hit a hard knot right there. Those spikes, I don't care how sharp they are, they will not dig into a knot, and he slipped right off.
So basically he fell out of the channel there, the log burling channel where all the spike marks are, and it's going to be tougher to get some grip on the end of the log there.
Right, and they are not allowed to touch that blue line. They cannot cross, they cannot cross the center line. That's also a DQ. Kenji's in it now. Okay, he's bringing confidence, believability, and look at his feet moving a lot faster.
And he's going a lot more towards the center there. And Brian Bartow just outruns Kenji Boyko for the championship here in Campbell River in the log burling competition. So tell me about your advantage over him, other than strength and experience, or is it just strength and experience?
I mean, it's a little experience and strength, but a bucking match, I mean, I outweigh him quite a bit, so I can kind of dictate where the log goes if I want to anyways.
Kenji, just tell me about when you started log rolling, who's been teaching you, and when did you start, and how long you've been doing it?
All right, I think I was 10 years old, and my dad has been my coach ever since. He's been the Canadian Championship lots of times, and he's been teaching me this through all this way.
So tell me about the experience of rolling a guy like Brian Bartow. He's bigger, he's older, he got more experience. You probably had some strategies going in, but that was tough.
Well, he's pretty much twice the weight as me, so I just got to stay up there, keep my feet moving, try not to fall off.
Well, there it is, Brian Bartow, now living in Squamish, British Columbia, and a seasoned veteran in log burling, coming in the #1 seed, winning it here in Campbell River.
Well, this is the 50th anniversary for the Salmon Festival and the logger sports here in Campbell River. A great tradition with all kinds of events going on throughout the year. Last night was all the kids' events in logger sports, and today it's novice and intermediate and advanced, and also the professional categories. But probably the most interesting will be the new event this year of the United States against Canada, a little bit of friendly rivalry of North versus South for bragging rights in the bush. We're really looking forward to that. But with the logger sports, it's who we are here in Campbell River. The forest sector is critically important to our economy, and we're extremely supportive and proud of all of the industries that make up that significant portion for us. And great fun to have another huge event here in Campbell River. Look forward to it every year.
And many thanks to the people of Campbell River and the mayor himself for rallying behind this competition year after year. For 50 years strong now, the Logger Sports Competition and the Campbell River Salmon Festival. We are heading into the pole climb, 80 feet up and down. We're going to be showing the top 2 heats. Transplanted Ontario guy, now living in British Columbia, Nick Hall, taking on Brian Barteau.
Well, Brian Barteau just dominated this event just like his father did. Watch the real estate they cover on each stride. And both these competitors using the new age toe gaff. The gaff's coming off the toe, allowing the calf muscle and the thigh muscle to work.
And Barteau is trying to open up a little bit of a lead over Hall here, but watch the descent as he climbs up to 80 feet. He's going to come down a lot faster, and sometimes that's where the race is won and lost.
Brian Barteau has the most controlled down of any speed climber I've ever seen, and he lands from 80 feet like he jumped off the picnic table.
And Nick, trying to catch Brian the last 20 feet, goes for a free fall. Brian, pretty good climb. I only saw one slip at the very beginning, maybe first couple of steps. Can you tell me anything you could have done better, or was that pretty much your good game?
It definitely could have been better. The trees are a little hard, so kind of tough to get those spurs to set right. But yeah, a couple little slips at the bottom, but made out with the win, so I'm happy.
Can you tell the hardness of the tree? I think these trees have been here 5 or 6 years now. They get more difficult as the years go by?
Definitely. I mean, they have a few knots and there's cracks, and so longer they bake out here in the sun, they just get hard.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Well, it's always been a tradition at the World Championships that the best speed climber in the world has to wear a dress the night of the party. And Brian Barteau, he's been a good sport, and he's earned that dress many, many years.
Well, Brian Barteau in heat number 1's got a 22.86. It's the final heat of the pole climb, 80 feet up and down. Dave McLeod taking on Trevor Schofield, a couple of Nova Scotia boys.
Dave McLeod seems to do every event. Look at Trevor Schofield, the length of his strides. Now that pole's 80 feet, it's tapering, so they're gathering lanyard as they go up to keep themselves close and tight to the pole.
Looks like McLeod had a little bit of a slowdown there around 50 feet, giving an advantage to Trevor Schofield, who's now on his way down, steps his way down gingerly, getting down to the 20-foot mark and slides the rest of the way down. Trevor Schofield comes in with a 25.81, good enough for 3rd place in the pole climb. I know you're an Easterner. You spent a lot of time out west. How much were you doing that out west when you were here?
I was out west before. I was pole climbing quite a bit. That was my best event when I finished. And I moved back east in 2009 was the last year I competed pole climbing. This is literally the first climb since I've done it since then.
Well, the pole climb is always a crowd pleaser, and Brian Barteau's been winning them for many years. He wins this one at 80 feet up and down with a 22.86. Well, we're back here in Campbell River for the Campbell River Salmon Festival and the 50th annual Logger Sports Competition. We are down to the last few events, among them the Springboard Chop, among the crowd favorites. This first heat, Jason Lenz from West Virginia, taking on one of the world's best springboard choppers, Mitch Hewitt.
Well, this event has a lot of names around the world. It's called the tree, it's called the jigger, it's called the boards. Today we are calling it the springboard, and the best in the world is right there, Mitchell Hewitt.
Look at that, a 4-hit first notch. He's up on his first board. Jason Lenz trying to keep pace with him right now. Mitch Hewitt working on his second notch.
Well, Mitch Hewitt wants to get up there, get a big hole in the front of that log. He's got 260 pounds of I need overall points. It's Jason Lenz right there, right behind him. But oh, Jason hitting a knot, that's putting him behind. Mitch Hewitt is gone and away to the races. Anyone learning how to springboard chop, watch that man.
Watch the effortless motion there by Mitch Hewitt as he hits his lines, he hits his marks, he knocks away another hanging chip there, but look at the lines, smooth and fluid, just keeps on going.
Yeah, he is one constant motion, and there's never any stoppage in this springboard chop. And Jason Lenz struggling, just getting the big wood out of that log.
Look at the big strapping arms there on Jason Lenz on the top board, but it's not about hitting hard, it's about hitting accurate, it's about being fluid with keeping the motion going. Mitch Hewitt is on his backside.
And Mitch Hewitt swings just as strong on his backside as he does on the front. Total off-handed power right there. And he's just going to want to reach that far wood. He's got about one more hit there and goes.
And one heat is in the books. 107.91, the time to beat, set by Mitch Hewitt. Were you happy with the second board there? It looked like a bit of a decline on, you couldn't quite get the angle.
I was happy with the board all, but the soft pine, it sort of just squishes down a bit, but it was strong, but it just on a difficult angle.
Well, we're now heading into the final heat of the Springboard Chop here in Campbell River at the Salmon Festival. This next heat, Nick Russell taking on Brian Bartow as they climb the pole, 2 boards up high, 9 feet in the air, chopping through 12 inches round a Western White Pine.
Well, this event is so important to Brian Bartow right now, and the reason I say that is he disqualified in the choker setting race, and it's not about the disqualification, it's how you follow the disqualification, and hopefully with success, and here's his opportunity.
And he's jamming that board in there. There's still a little bit of a wall of wood there as Nick Russell's still working on his first pocket.
Yeah, you saw what I did, Bill, that small wall of wood in the back of the pocket, and the way these clips are made, that clip has to be all the way to the back because there's so many pounds of pressure, and you can see Mitch Hewitt put a perfect pocket in, and even that sagged on him.
Well, we called it. Brian Bartow actually took his board out, cleaned out that wall of wood. Now they're both working on their second notches. This is Nick Russell trying to reset his board right there.
That looks pretty good to me. Nick Russell is a big boy. He's going to want to get that in there. And looks like Brian Bartow, I didn't think that pocket would hold, but it is barely holding. This is tough white pine. They're going to be up there for a while, so you're better off putting a few extra hits in that top pocket.
Looked like Nick Russell looked down at his board, and now he's encroaching a little bit closer to the pole, which is not what you want to do. You want to be able to stand out in the back of your board, can maximize the amount of strength into those swings. Now Nick Russell's going back to the drawing board on his second board.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the right move. I've been there where you just have to suck it up, and you got to come down, swallow your pride, fix that pocket, get up, and get ready to fight for another day. Brian Bartow knew he V'd out right there. That axe is not going to penetrate into pinched wood, we'll call it. You might as well go to the backside. He's got a strong backhand. It's good practice.
He's got a long way to go on the backside. Ideally, you want to go with 90% of the way. It looks like he only went about 75 or 85% of the way, and he's got a lot of far wood to reach as well.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to get it off. He's going to want to pick up that stair step. You can see it closest up. That down hit, he's going to want to pick up that wood, maintain as much of a 45% slope as you can.
And Nick Russell's now up in his second board. Now he's coming back down up in his second board. Gonna work at that notch again. And Brian Bartow comes off in a time of 144.4, and he looks like he's just about exhausted. Well, when you invite the world's best springboard chopper to your party, you can only battle it out for second, third, fourth, and fifth. Mitch Hewitt wins with 107. Well, it's been a fantastic competition here at the 50th Annual Logger Sports Competition, part of the Campbell River Salmon Festival, and we are going to end things off with an international relay, Canada versus the United States. In total, we're going to see 7 athletes from each country participating in 7 different events, including the pole climb, underhand chop, stock saw, springboard chop, axe throw, choker race, and the OP, and it's going to be a great battle between a lot of friends.
This isn't fair at all. Look at the Canadians are smiling already because Mitch Hewitt is going against Jason Lentz again in the springboard, but a redemptive situation in my mind for Jason Lentz.
Well, you're throwing in the towel, Dave. No, you being an American, me being a Canadian, we know who our loyalties are going to be with on this particular relay here. But again, we've got a strong pole climber for the Americans. We're going to be starting things off with Nick Hall taking on Brian Bartow in the pole climb. Surely Brian's going to give the Americans a big lead after the pole climb.
Yeah, you always want to put your strongest speed climber first, get that lead. And Brian Bartow, he's kicking in another gear right here. This is the Brian Bartow we all know. They're going to hit 60 feet, and watch the speed of his descent.
And just as I predicted, Brian Bartow is going to give the Americans a lead after the pole climb. As we head into the underhand chop, it looks like the Americans are going to have a slight lead, about 3 or 4 seconds.
Now, the man in the background, Derek, chopping for the U.S., it looks like his axe is shifting better. It's not sticking at all, and it's penetrating that wood. It looks like he's going to turn. Well, there they are. No, Nick is turning right with him, but his axe is just sticking.
Yes, Dave, they both turned at the exact same time. Nick Russell in the foreground. There's Derek Pouchnick. He looks like he's in the lead a little bit over Nick Russell, but Nick Russell's trying to catch up right now, and Nick Russell's trying to drive things off. And there it is. Nick Russell ends the underhand chop ahead of Derek Pouchnick, giving way to Anita Jazowski in the stock saw, and now Brenda's going to take over the stock saw for Team USA.
Anita Jazowski just taking that disc off, and Brenda's going to have to be patient, let the RPMs do the work, and away goes Mitchell, the missile Hewitt. He knows he had a couple bad pockets in the open event. He'll rectify that right now, and we're about to see, that's the angle I'm talking about, a perfect camera angle for the Springboarders at home. Watch the clip go all the way to the back. He's away to the races.
That clip fit exactly into that notch that he made, and this is the opportunity for Canada to make some hay and get a little bit of a lead with Jason Lenz and the Springboard chop taking on Mitch Hewitt.
Jason Lenz just splashing some hits in there, doing kind of best Julia Child of that pocket. But Mitch Hewitt looking right in there, and he is just laying into that. He knows his father-in-law is going to be coming up at the end with the axe throw. Mitch Hewitt giving it everything he has. Jason Lenz is going to have to use 255 pounds of ketchup to get the team back in there.
I don't know if they're going to be able to get the team back in it. Dave McLeod is not on the opposite pole. Mitch Hewitt has given the Canadians an insurmountable lead. Jason Lenz still on a Springboard chop. As long as Dave McLeod doesn't take a DQ, he's about to race back down the pole, and he's going to hand it off to Daniel Koch in the choker race. As soon as he tags the end, Daniel Koch is going to be released to go in the choker race, and there she goes across the pond.
Well, you're right, Bill. They don't want to disqualify, but still, speed is your friend in this sport. You train fast, you have to go fast, even when the team is relying on you. She's done this plenty of times, and that looks like a legal hitch right there.
And once Danielle crosses the pond, Team Canada will just be relying on Carl Bischoff to get 3 bullseye in the axe target to bring it home, as Jason Lenz for the Americans is still working on a Springboard chop.
Carl Bischoff, the only competitor I've ever seen throw underhand, and his first throw is a bullseye. No way, Bill. He's gone 2 for 2.
And here comes throw number 3. There it is. He's got himself another bullseye. 3 straight bullseyes for Carl Bischoff as Team Canada takes down Team USA in the international relay.
Unbelievable.
Well, the relay started with Nick Hall falling a few seconds behind Brian Bartow in the pole climb and giving the Americans an early lead, but then it was Derek Pouchnick taking on Nick Russell, with Nick Russell catching up to Derek and taking off the underhand chop in advance of Nita Jazowski taking on Brenda Pouchnick in the stock saw.
Well, a successful relay team is when everyone competes within their ability and doesn't try to go past it. Mitch Hewitt doing what he does best, cutting a perfect springboard. That gives him the lead. The United States could not catch up, and Daniel Koch running a flawless choker race.
And ending things off, the axe throwers were required to get 3 bullseye. And who else could we rely on more than Carl Bischoff? 3 throws, 3 bullseyes, giving the Canadians the victory.
And the crown pivotal point goes to Mitchell Hewitt in the open tournament. He cut his springboard, came off shaking his head. We call him the missile, and Mitchell, the missile, was launched in the relay.
And Brian Bartow was not quite the runaway train that we thought it would be. The standings tighten up a lot with Mitch Hewitt winning the springboard chop and coming in second place in the hot saw. Brian Bartow wins it by only 85 points.
Here's our lumberjill of the day. Aaron Lavoie getting 3 first places, even a 3rd against the men in the log roll. And Brian Bartow earning 510 points in the air and on the land, our lumberjack of the day.
And special thanks to all the sponsors of the Campbell River Salmon Festival. Come back again next week when it'll be time for Lumberjacks.
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922. Yamaha, rev your heart.
Every year we come out to Campbell River, and Dave McLeod, one of the organizers of the competition, does a terrific clown act at the top of a 100-foot pole. He gets to the top of the pole, he juggles a few balls, he does a handstand, and towards the end, he takes a fake picture of the audience and takes 1 step backwards in order to fool the audience he's going to fall off the pole. Actually, he's tied into a 1/2-inch metal cable, and he comes sliding down this metal cable and crashes into these pads for a real safe landing.